no basis in truth or reality. Some of them are not even renamed, such as Easter, which is the name of the bare-breasted fertility goddess of the East, who came out of heaven in this giant egg, landing in the Euphrates River at sunrise on the first Sunday after the vernal equinox, busting out, turning a bird into an egg-laying rabbit. And then after that point in time, the priest of Easter would then sacrifice infants and then take the eggs of Easter and dye them in the blood of sacrificed infants. Many of these same traditions are carried on today in the name of those people who say that they're worshiping the true God, but really do not even understand that some of the things that they have inherited in some of these occult holidays have actually been brought into what the Christians consider their church. And so it is that when we have inherited these things, but we find that we have forsaken the feast of the Lord, which are all prophetic shadow pictures of good things to come, we find ourselves again with the hands broken from the face of the clock. We do not understand God's reckoning of time, but we also have been shut out from understanding the feast of the Lord, which the New Testament says are all shadow pictures of good things to come. And so it is that Israel understood for centuries, for generations, that each one of the feasts of the Lord were holy rehearsals, holy convocations, which are holy mikra, or holy rehearsals, that we look back at good things that had happened in the past, such as Passover, when we left Egypt. We understood these things as good things that happened in the past. But yet, until the spring feasts were fulfilled, we did not understand that they were also shadow pictures of what the Messiah would accomplish when the Messiah comes. And so now what we are going to see is get an understanding, a perspective of that. Because we see that in the Gospel of John, Yohanan was a first century Jewish follower of the Jewish Messiah. And it is in his Gospel, in his record, that he says, I have not written everything that could be written or should be written. The world wouldn't even be able to contain the scrolls of the things that should be written about Jesus of Nazareth. But he said, but this I have written, that you might know that Yahshua of Nazareth is the Messiah, the only begotten Son of God, and that believing you might have life through his name. Now, how does a Jewish disciple of the Messiah prove in his culture to his people that Yahshua is the Messiah? How does he do it? Of all the things that could and should be written, the world wouldn't be able to contain the scrolls. What is it that he selects, that he uses, that proves that he is Messiah? John shows how Jesus of Nazareth fulfilled the spring feast of the Lord just as they had been rehearsed every year, year after year, century after century, for over 1,000 years. And that each one of these feasts were a prophetic shadow picture that we were required, Israel was required to go up to Jerusalem, to these feasts, to these rehearsals, and every one of these feasts were embedded with an expectation that this could be the time that the Messiah is revealed. And so every time we came to the feast, it was with that expectation, this may be the year. We would come up, we would purify ourselves, we would mikvah or baptize ourselves before the festivities began, expecting that maybe this is the year that the Messiah comes. And we see that the Gospel of John details how Yahshua of Nazareth fulfills every detail of the spring feast just as they've been rehearsed for thousands of years. The Gospel of John really can't be understood from a Western or a Gentile perspective that's completely removed from the feast of the Lord. Because unless you understand the feast and understand what was going on, then as we read, we really don't see the fulfillment of all the pictures. And so today we are going to go into these things, and there will be an explosion in your mind. There will be a perspective that you will be changed forever. You will walk out of here as different people, thinking differently, and there's nothing that you'll be able to do about it.